Welcome back. Donald Trump can now just cash in a few shares and his money worries will all be over thanks to the rampaging stock market debut of his social media startup, Truth Social. Now, where are those meme stonks of 2020? For a company that makes no money, I mean, I've seen crazy stuff. I suppose this is just another crazy.
This was one of the meme stonks, one of the
It was when it was still the SPAC.
And it did exceptionally well then, and he had a lockup then. Now there's a deal with the SPAC. And now there's another lockup. Can the man just catch a break?
Well, he's selling Bibles instead. Apparently, it's his second favorite book after Art of the Deal.
Oh, well, go figure. Just because Easter is around the corner, he loves to, play the narrative. He's a very weird.
He's a very savvy marketer. So, Truth Social, what is it? The market value is $13 billion.
Yes, at 13 billion, it's what? I'm trying to, look at Reddit. It's almost, it's heading into Reddit territory. It's madness.
Difference, Reddit has users and Truth Social only does 35 million revenue a year. I've never even looked at it.
Can you download it in South Africa? I don't think so.
Why not?
So going back to Donald Trump, because we talked about it this last week, and actually his fine by the New York court has been reduced to what, $175 million. So he doesn't have to. His deposit.
Fine, yeah.
Okay, sorry.
His bond.
His bond. He's not allowed to cash in his shares until 6 months have lapsed, right?
I think from this deal.
Yes, so that's
because he was locked in before.
Poor Donald.
So they don't want to fund him. He can't sell his shares, and he can't sell his shares high. But he can't borrow against his shares either because no one wanted to. That was the issue. That's what we were talking about last
Don't say you could lodge them as collateral and do zero cost collar.
No one wants to do that deal with him.
And there's bankers here in Rosebank.
It's DJT.
You do zero cost collars, not.
Well, it wasn't quite a blockbuster results week, but brisk enough, not least among them Old Mutual, blowing past our expectations, but still, and we're really not sure why, keen on a bank. Anyway, here's CFO Casper Trosky.
If you look at the operating conditions that this result was delivered in, it's been really tough. So we're very pleased with the fact that we were able to deliver the growth that we delivered. And in fact, we feel that we've taken market share in most of our businesses, so that's a key feature of the results for me. And if you look at our value of new business, that grew very strongly at 37%, which means that, customers are looking at our propositions favorably.
It was an astounding set of numbers, and they have grabbed market share, left, right, and centre. I really couldn't believe it when I saw them. I assumed they were going to, sorry, our bad, that's old results. They were good.
Well, usually we're in a market that's shrinking. The smaller parties are the ones that usually wind down quite quickly. And then obviously the bigger companies, sort of take what's left of that market share. And this is probably one of the the things that are happening in the background.
Who are the small? Are you thinking of, say, Clientele Life? Because they were the one insurance company that didn't come out with particularly good numbers, because they have been really surprising. And we've been talking about how people would allow policies to lapse. It's such a tough economy. We've talked about interest rates, how much money is getting sucked out of your bank account every month by simply a much higher interest bill on your car repayments and your bond. And yet the major insurance companies have produced astounding results.
Think about what's that insurance company that went on the JC? Correct.
Constantia Insurance.
Constantia Insurance. Think about that, for example. Those smaller players, when they go down, those businesses are always, sucked in by the bigger vacuum of these sort of bigger businesses. It's interesting for Old Mutual, considering what's been happening in the past month on social media. Everyone talking about Old Mutual this, Old Mutual that.
I can't help. Firstly, that was post the results, and secondly, there's social media and there's reality.
Yeah,
and
that's what I wanted to say. But
and then there's starting a bank. Shall we start a bank?
Why is everyone starting a bank? It feels like 07 again.
It actually does. Well, no, but then they were all giving their licenses back. It was the early 2000s where everyone wanted a bank. Yeah. And I think of the sort of tier 2 bank licenses, like 40 were just like Oaks knocked on the Saab door and said, you can have the license back.
But with companies that are already, you know, fiduciaries like Old Mutual, like asset managers, you know, it's sort of bolt on in what they do in their business. It's just one additional offering that they can give to their customers.
But what's your value proposition? You're not Discovery, you're not Time Bank, you're not Bank Zero.
Usually they all come in this angle of credit for some reason.
Do you think that's a mistake? I mean, we've talked about it in the past, but because they've spent what, 1.75 billion rand, or thereabouts, maybe about 2 billion rand on building this bank. Is it kind of a misguided investment?
Look at Discovery, but also Discovery, like I said, started as a credit card issuer. So I'm sure there's an angle
steps by steps.
Steps by steps. But the problem is Discovery's clientele is high end. And then you're going to have Old Mutual, which is
competing with Capitec.
Mixed. I was going to say mixed in a way. So I don't know what's going to be the uptake.
Yeah, and Discovery's got all the bells and whistles, which a lot of people hate, but a lot of people don't. Double-digit numbers at Adtech too, and I can only hope those competitors are falling by the wayside.
It is something that has been ongoing for quite a while, and so it's not unexpected. Our worry is for the students who perhaps have financial commitments to that organisation, who are midway through their studies and are now left somewhat in the lurch. We've been working with the regulator, trying to see what assistance we could provide, recognition of prior credits or learning, and absorbing into our system if at all possible to try and provide some relief for those students.
So he's talking about the issues plaguing Damlin.
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose they are mopping up other businesses.
Yeah, I was going to say, you have a business like Adtech, which is, firing on all cylinders in this same very tough operating environment. And, someone, talks to you about your numbers and how you've done, and all they focus about is the negative news. Come on, guys. These are some of the greatest operators we have in South Africa. On the JSE, go look at their share price.
Let's go talk those numbers, because Roy's been there since 2015. I've been a long-term shareholder here. If you look at that operational leverage, I mean, margins in schools have gone up 230 points in the last 4 years. On tertiary, it's gone up 350 points. As they sweat the assets and get that leverage effect, it is, to your point, an incredibly well run. Crawford and others going bust, sure, that just sweetens the deal. But even without that, they were going to be doing incredibly well.
Damlin, not Crawford.
Sorry, Damlin.
Crawford is the cream of the crop.
Sorry, Roy. No, Roy's spending time with his money now. He's no longer watching us.
Yeah. So it's, I've liked the business. It's one of the businesses that were introduced to me by you and Keith McCacklin in 2010. So I've never shied away from the business since. Yeah.
Then there was MTN, where try as we might, we could not find the excitement button anywhere. Could you find it? Was there anything about the results that made you think, I really have to own a telcos?
No, in fact, every inkling of me in my body, says stay away from telcos. I mean,
10-year return it was stock is minus 19%.
Go figure that out. And then for Vodacom, I think it was a 5-year I was looking at, it's up like 56%, which is disappointing.
Well, so 10 years. So Vodacom's up 3.5 KGAR, MTN's down 3.5 KGAR, add some dividends. These are terrible returns. Here's another one.
No matter how you cut it.
And their bank, their mobile money, I mean, it's hit a brick wall as well. I mean, they've got 75 million users out of 300 million. They're not making money there. The big deal is the 6 Rand that they basically lost, 6 Rand a share earnings from the devaluation of the Naira. And that's not coming back because the Naira is not suddenly going to strengthen tenfold.
I think if we had to make a prediction about the Naira, it's going to get worse before it gets worse. So I was having this conversation
like with Lira.
Exactly. Well, it's gonna be exactly, or the Argentinian whatever.
Peso. It's
not gonna look good for a while. No, I was having a conversation with someone at MTN. Say, hey guys, Vuga the share price. What's going on there? So, well, tell us what to do about the Nigerian Naira. And I said, hedge.
But hedges.
But what you
work and then they expire and
of course, but you can't say people must start now using your product by just purchasing it in dollars. It's very hard.
So are they stuck in an intractable position there because Nigeria is their biggest
is a third of the whole business, probably even more.
Well, back in the days, I think yes. Intractable position is a good way of putting it.
So then why?
It's an onerous contract if you want to look at it in accounting terms.
So in this light, why on earth did MTN suddenly show that spike up to 200 Rand at the beginning of last year?
Well, the Nigerian Naira was still sitting quite pretty. The weakness in the Naira only started in February, April last year. To answer your question?
Markets are forward-looking, they say.
No, maybe the market was signaling that maybe that Nigerian business someone was looking to buy. But that didn't happen, clearly.
That's their best bet, but then they still can't get the money out anyway. I just, you know what, I used to own this.
You can, if you do a deal with, you know, Arabs, for a lack of a better word, and take money in Saudi Arabia or in the
gold bars
UAE.
and stuff. No, dude, we saw that. Look how it's working for Sasfin. Terrible idea.
I'm just saying, where there's a will, there's a way. But I'm just saying, it's been tough. It's not gonna be easy.
I sold this for 175 Rand in 2015 when that Nigerian fund broke.
I think you won because some of us held a bit longer than we should.
So did I. That was
Yes.
my
No,
best
you'd
stock
actually
market
sold
call
earlier.
ever.
You'd sold above 200, and I remember thinking, silly you, and then I sold 175. Master Drilling is the ultimate frustration stock. A good story. Always the next big thing in mining. Order book and greenbacks, and still no love from the stock market. But here's the story anyway.
I think we're in a very good position. Order book very strong. A lot of the order book is for the next 12 months, and then some of that going into 2 years and 3 years. So we're quite happy with that. And on top of that, we've got pipeline, which is up to nearly 600 or 500 something $million. Very positive about that. And also, if you look at the commodity and clients, which those orders are, you know, it is in the coppers, the golds. A lot of zinc, actually low-cost zinc producers. So it's quite a high-quality order book and pipeline that we have.
Lovely company, lovely order book, lovely technology. Market couldn't care two hoots.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sad we don't have graphs on this show, but the share price, since listing, it goes and eventually long-term, it just looks like that.
Yeah.
And obviously, if you look at it in real terms, actually losing.
It's a delisting at some point.
Yeah, it's probably
Which
best
is very
as a
sad to
privately.
see.
It's best as a privately held company.
Yeah.
And finally, you can sort of see why a Texas man has legally changed his name to literally anybody else and has launched a bid for the 2024 presidential election. Justin Eby, 35, said he changed his name so that he could express his dissatisfaction with the current presidential candidates, Donald Trump and Joe Biden. It's not necessarily about me as a person, but it's about literally anybody else as an idea, the Dallas resident told a local news outlet. 300 million people, he said, can do better.
There's something, I mean, we sit here and talk about this every Friday. Like, are there no other people in America? Is this the best they can give us?
Oh, you can now vote for literally anybody else.
Yes.
At least I'll literally vote for him.
Yeah. I mean, I got a friend who's a surgeon. I mean, I can think I know 10 Americans. They're all better than the current offering. Although this
man might be in with a chance.
Yes.
He's on to something.
And that's where we leave it. Bright, have a lovely long weekend, and to you all, have a good evening and a great weekend.